announcements that are happening this week, just to keep you guys up to date. I know there's some new people that came over because, oh, sorry, because of um, Liz, and that's so amazing. But right now, we are getting ready to start a challenge on the 1st. So it is 30 days to grow wild. And I know, Jim, you're already in that. We've got a couple other people. And so it's just kind of like checking in daily to help grow your connection with nature, help you be more centered, relax, and just kind of refocus and start achieving your goals. So we're going to set a goal at the beginning. I'm going to have daily updates. There's a habit tracker, and then you post one thing that you've done every single day. This could be just learning about an herb. This could be drinking a tea, adding an herb to your dinner that you don't usually do. So it's just one thing a day. So it's super simple. And if you guys want to check it out, it's here. This is only going to be open until the 1st, and then this will be closed for just the people that are in it. There's that, and then there's a Q&A here. So if you want to check into that, you can go ahead and do that. And then also, we just opened our tier section, which I can't remember how to access that. But if you are interested in looking at that, oh yeah, it's right here. There is a new like premium and VIP. So if you click on any of the modules that are closed out for those, then it'll tell you all about those. Okay, so the monthlies and stuff like that. So that's super fun. I just they just updated that today. So all right. And so Liz is going to be our spotlight guest here, and she has an amazing podcast. She has learned about essential oils for a really long time. She is also has her own community, and I'll just give you a little sneak peek, okay? But you have to join her community, and I'm going to put a link. It is in the post that she made, but it's Aromatic Wisdom Community. There's a link in the group already, but there's also going to be a link underneath this live, so you can check that out there, okay? And I'm going to go back to you guys because I can't see you. Okay, she said fun. Okay. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'll let Liz explain more about herself. She's super inspiring. I love her posts over there in her group as well. And so she puts a lot of information, and she goes deep. So if you're ready to dive deep, this is a great way to go. All right, let me see. This is new to me, the webinar, so bear with me. They say that I'm allowed to allow audio, allow video, and allow screen
Oh, there
share.
I am. Oh, I forgot my earrings. Well, no, wait a minute. Oh,
You couldn't see
come
yourself
on.
yet. She's there.
They're here. I'm putting them in by gum. I don't know. It's something from childhood. I had my ears pierced when I was 2 weeks old, and ever since then, my mom said, "Elizabeth Ann, you need to have earrings before you go out." So we're
Okay.
starting. That's great, aren't we? Here we go.
No, you look.
So you can hear me all right.
Yes. Mhm.
Good, good, good. I don't know how much I need this in my face. Thank you so much for having me, Mary Heather. I you said kind things, thank you, but I have to say I am so inspired by your community, by
Oh, thanks.
you. Honestly, by you. You are a double barrels going, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Yeah, I'm slow and deep.
Yeah, but that's good though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw who's here because this is also new. We're in the webinar function, right? And so I
Yes.
saw who's here. Hello, hello. I know Jim. I know Jeannie, Cassandra. I know, and April. Oh yeah, I know these people, and of course Heather.
Yes.
Now I would like to share my screen with my slides.
Yes, I allowed you to do that. And then also, this will be replayed in the community. So anybody in my community that's not seeing it now will probably watch it later. A lot of people do that.
Okay. I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen when I share my screen. If Well, let me just try it. They're in Canva.
It's very similar to, g
So I I'm in presentation mode, but I can see no one, or I cannot see
yeah,
chat, I cannot see people, but you can see
I
my
can still just see you.
I'm sorry?
I can still just see you.
Interesting. And you see my how to choose quality essential oils?
No.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. I wonder if we should out of practice. If I have to, oh, here we go. Oh, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. The problem was in the seat.
There you go.
Um, There we go. So now my little
Yep.
presentation, but everyone's watching us learn together.
Mhm.
Now do you see my pretty purple screen?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So when I teach, this is a weird thing about doing this online. I love when people ask questions as we go along because it's more organic. I'm speaking about a thing, a question's asked about a thing. But because of the nature of the setup, I think I just gonna ask you guys to write them down when when you have questions, and then we'll just save them for the end. Okay. Do you see all this stuff up here, the sharing this tab and all my links? I don't know what you can see.
No, I
Or can
don't.
you only see?
I just
Okay,
see
beautiful.
the perfect purple.
Perfect. Okay, real quickly, I've been around since the dawn of time. Came into essential oils in 1991 when I lived in Rome, Italy. I lived there for many years. I was worked for the UN. I had a job there and had two kids while I was there. And when my second son was born, my boys are Davide and Gianluca. When Gianluca was born, he was given an aromatherapy massage at birth. And actually, it was a calendula. It was essential oil. They never used the words aromatherapy. And that just opened up an entirely new world for me. From there, I then continued to discover essential oils at Buristeria, which is it's a kind of like an herbal store, but something between homeopathy and herbs. In Italy, they're everywhere. And I started buying essential oils and experimenting, came to the States, started taking all kinds of training in essential oils, and then went to Purdue University in the summer of 99 and did an international training on essential oils. And that was when I first learned about the chemistry. And that was a game changer because I love the stories. There are so many anecdotes. Jasmine grows at the romantic and the fields and oh, tell me why it works. So that was when I learned about the chemistry and why the chemistry of coffee is. We get a dopamine surge when we drink caffeine because of the when we drink coffee because of the caffeine molecule. I love all the woo woo. Don't get me wrong. I love the energetics and all of that. It's two sides of the same coin. Anyway, learned all about that. Went on to teach at different schools, and in 2010, I opened my own Aromatic Wisdom Institute. I love to talk. Primarily, I love to listen to talk. I love audiobooks and NPR and all the things. So in 2014, I thought, well, there's these things called podcasts. I think I'm going to try it. So the Aromatic Wisdom Podcast was born. And then in 2013, I learned how to distill essential oils with, can you see behind me my still? So bizarre. I cannot see what you're
Yes.
seeing.
Yes. I can see
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Learned how to do that from Ann Harmon. And then in 2017, James and I purchased copper stills from Ann Harmon that had been started by Jeannie Rose. And now my husband imports stills from Portugal and sells them. And we always say, he sells the thing that makes the stuff that I teach about. And of course, I have kids and I have a grandson. So that's me. One more little promo. I'm here on school, and there's the link for the podcast. Right, right, right. So let's get down to the good stuff. It was a little tricky putting this together, Mary Heather, because I didn't know the scope of the knowledge of your peeps. So it's kind of basic, but we can always go deeper with questions. So I think I might have missed a couple things on here. So primarily, there's a checklist of sort of the things that before you purchase an essential oil, first of all, well, let me go back. When I first started teaching in the 90s, the biggest thing that I had to impart on folks was what was an essential oil, that it's not perfume, it's not a fragrance oil. A lot of people did not know what essential oils were, so I had to kind of teach them what they were. And there weren't even very many around there was no internet, and so there were health food stores, and I couldn't even find them that easily. And then, of course, the world changed with internet and so forth. And now the biggest thing I impart is damage control. People are buying terrible products. People are using them inappropriately. So, um, it's come along. I've come a long way, but but in some ways, it's really easy to buy garbage. In some ways, it's very easy to buy good stuff. And I do find that as the world of essential oils, I say aromatherapy, but I'm really specifically talking about essential oils, as the internet and communications improves and transparency, it's actually getting easier to find good products if you kind of know where to look. I'm getting ahead of myself, but for example, I would not go on Etsy or Amazon to purchase essential oils for a couple of reasons. Even though I know some good sellers on Amazon and Etsy, I still feel for a newbie, it's not a good place to begin. It's really easy to get to just buy the wrong thing. All right. So what I'm going to do is sort of go one by one, the things that I recommend you look for and why. So the first thing is, and when I'm talking about what you look for, I mean, it should be on the bottle and the website. Now, there are some things, the information should be provided by the supplier. That's too much to put on the bottle, but it really should be on the website. I'm getting to that. But on the bottle should always be the Latin binomial, the botanical name. And that is you're herbalist, and aromatherapist, the botanical name is the plant, the actual scientific Latin binomial, the genus and species of the plant from which the essential oil was extracted. That should be on the bottle. So here are some examples of good and bad. These are people I love. Eden's Garden. I am not brand loyal. In other words, I have my favorites, but I will use everything. I'll even buy crappy oils sometimes just to see what makes them. When I say crappy, I mean something that I feel like, oh, I would never use this therapeutically, but I'm going to buy it and see what it's like. I buy a lot of things that I just to get a sense of what's out there, what people are using. So in Shanti, there's the cardamom, Lataria cardamomum, which is the Latin binomial on there, the genus and species, birch, Betula lenta. Now on the right, in September, my husband and I went to the Bloomsburg Fair. I live in Pennsylvania. It's a very big deal here. And lots of vendors. And we came upon a woman and her husband and her grandson who had a stand. And I could almost tell by looking that, oh, no. Don't call them essential oils. Don't be selling people this. And so I picked up a bottle, and the first thing I saw was, and I even on the back, unfortunately I did not get a photograph of the back, but the front was the common name, no Latin binomial. There was no indication of, was it Lavandula spica? Spicata? Was it Lavandula intermedia? Which plant did it come from? Just to say lavender. Now, lavender is really one, it's probably going to be Lavandula angustifolia, which is the most common, but it's a sign of professionalism. Just put the name on there. So I have more stories to tell about this couple who were, God bless them, they didn't know what they were doing. It was a mess what they were selling, but I sort of straightened them out by the time I got done talking with them. Okay, so another thing you want to look at is the part of the plant from which the essential oil is extracted. So we got the plant, Lavandula angustifolia, let's say, for example, the one that's not there. The part of the plant. Why is this important? It's important with certain oils. It's always good to have the information. The more information that you know about an essential oil you're using. It's a relationship. You have relationships with your herbs. I'm sure you have your favorites. I have a whole lemon verbena story, and I just feel like that she and I, we were soulmates. And so the more you work with the essential oils, the more you understand what is in the bottle. Excuse me. So, in a case like cinnamon, it's really important to know what part of the plant it was extracted from because they have different properties. One is I prefer bark. One is can be a bit more harsh, and other you can see they're extracted from the same plant, just one from the bark, one from the leaf. So it's another thing to be mindful of. It won't always be on the bottle, and if it should, to me, it should be when there is the possibility of confusion. When, for example, in with cinnamon, when there are several oils extracted from the same plant, I feel it should be on the bottle. If it's not on the bottle, check the website. If it's not on the website, then just go away or talk to the supplier. So that's so the Latin binomial, that now the bottles. Let's talk real quickly about bottles. Some of this I'm feeling maybe you probably already know. So I don't have a slide for this, but don't look at this right now. um, Essential oils are very volatile, very fragile, and the couple of things that will ruin them, well, there are three specifically: light, air, oxygen, and heat. But light can really destroy an essential oil, and so never buy an essential oil that is in a clear bottle. I didn't make a slide about it because I can't find them that easily anymore in clear bottles. Years ago, yes. There's a company called Desert Essence. I think they're still around. They used to sell their tea tree oil in a clear bottle. They've stopped doing that. So I think, with awareness and education, they're trying to do right. So number one, amber is going to be the cheapest. I know I used to have a line of essential oils called Liz's Garden, and I started with the beautiful cobalt because they're gorgeous, and they were $1 more per bottle. So I went to amber. And but they also sell green and purple, but much more expensive. Regardless, it needs to be colored to protect the contents. So the next thing is with the dropper. Do not buy an essential oil or even a blend, meaning if there's an essential oil, I don't know, 2 or 3 essential oils in a massage oil, I would still never buy it with a rubber dropper because essential oils are volatile. They volatilize. I always like to say, like the song volare, which means to fly. That's where the word volatile comes from. They fly very easily and turn from a liquid to a gas state very quickly. And what's happening is, and they're very caustic to certain substances like rubber. And so as they're in the bottle and all these little molecules are floating up, they're eating away at the rubber. And I have had, long before I knew what I was doing, I had that happen. Or I had a bottle of clove or some really strong oil that just disintegrated the rubber top. I went to take it off and it fell off and it was all over everywhere. And I had someone once bring me, students are always bringing me stuff saying, "Is this any good?" And I love it when I say, "No, this is horrible. Can I keep it?" And someone brought me in a Ziploc bag a bottle of essential oil she had purchased that was sold with a rubber top that had just melted. It turned into nothing. So do not store your essential oils that way. Now I know with herbs and tinctures and all that, that's fine, but not with essential oils. So instead you want an orifice reducer or Euro dropper. They have different names, which is the little plug that goes right inside here. And it's made for this purpose. So the plastic is really hard. It's, you pour it, the drops come out. It's perfect. And I have on occasion purchased a bottle of essential oil. And when I got it home and opened it, there was no orifice reducer in it. Big oversight. I don't know if it was a manufacturing mistake or they just didn't sell them. And so if that happens, you can always buy these loose, the orifice reducers, or just take one from another bottle. So here's something I don't like to see. You don't see it very much with really with not only I don't see it ever with reputable suppliers. I will see this a lot at craft fairs and things where people will make a blend. I It could be pure essential oils, but they'll put flowers and gems and things in it. And that's fantastic if your purpose is anointing your house or something, but you do not want to don't put anything in your essential oils. It will, well, plant material can introduce water content, microbes. It can just add all sorts of unhappy things to a bottle of essential oil. Now, if you have a carrier oil and you put a little fragrancing oil in there, or even a little bit of essential oil, and you're selling it as sort of I'm thinking of a magical, like with the K. But honestly, look at this. It's got the rubber dropper and the flowers. So I would stay away. Definitely don't sell anything like that. The method of extraction is something else you want to be aware of when you're going to purchase a bottle of essential oil. There are several methods. The four most common are steam inhalation, which like my little still behind me. You put plants and water in there, you heat it, steam comes through the plant material, and what comes out are two products: water, which used to be steam, it has now transformed into hydrosol, which means the steam has gone up through the plant material, come back down, again, turned back into water, but it's got all sorts of goodies from the plant in it. And then essential oil, which will float on top. So that's steam distillation. That is most essential oils are produced that way through steam distillation. The citrus fruit they can be actually. Primarily they are extracted through on the skin of, say, an orange. If you've ever, and I know you've all done this, or you did it as kids, or you have kids, or you did it as fun adults, taking an orange peel and fold it in half and watch all that stuff shoot out of it, that is water that's in the rind and essential oils. So the essential oils live in the rind. They are grown in the rind, the zest of citruses, your lemon, grapefruit, orange, lime, not in the juice, not in the meat. So to extract those essential oils, there's a machine that pokes holes in them, and there's a whole way that they do it. They press the rind, and that's how and then of course they're separating out in the water and so forth. I'm going to Italy in next year. My son's getting married in Rome, and I would like to go down to Calabria and see where the bergamot comes from. I would like to watch that process of extraction, so I'm really hoping I can do that. There's solvent, and solvent extraction is where they use hexane and other chemicals to extract the essential oils from plants. Jasmine's a perfect example. It is so delicate. It cannot be steam distilled. It cannot be cold pressed. But you can get an absolute of lavender or absolute of rose. But generally, when it's called an absolute, that means purely means it was extracted with a solvent. And then finally, carbon dioxide, which is another form of, it's very, very high pressure CO2 is blown into the plant, and what's produced is a beautiful aromatic. Sometimes it's very thick, and they say it's closest to the natural aroma. Anyway, that was a little more information than you needed for the purpose of this talk, but you asked me what time it is. I will build you a clock, so you're going to get all of me. But steam distillation and cold pressing are the two that I want you to be aware of in this presentation, because I'll tell you why. So this is when it becomes important. There are some essential oils that it makes a difference how it's distilled. And lime is a very important, is really a key one to know. Lime essential oil that has been cold pressed, which means they've squished it and gotten those oils out with no heat, nothing interfering. It's just the oil as it was born in the plant, and now it's in your bottle. in all of the components in that cold pressed lime, there are fluorocarbons and bergaptine, and there are molecules that if you put them on your skin, you'll get sunburn. It's phototoxicity. And so if you want to use lime, but you do not want to have that safety issue, you can buy it steam distilled. I don't see this with all the citruses. I actually, like Jeannie, I have other aromatherapists here. I'd like to ask if there are other citruses that are steam distilled, but lime is the one that's most. I don't honestly know why. It is very commonly sold either cold pressed or steam distilled. I have both right here. This is the cold pressed. It's my favorite. I prefer the aroma of cold pressed. So the reason why steam distilled is safer is because those molecules that give you trouble with your skin are too heavy. They don't come over through the distillation process, but of course they do when they're cold pressed. So this language here is directly from the website because the bottle does not indicate on the front. Now, this bottle indicates that this is a steam distilled product. This bottle does not, but it does on the back because I have it, and I like that it's on the label. But this
Jean
is more.
Ann Jean Ann did say that you're correct, that lime is the one she knows that's distilled.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know why, Jean. It's interesting, isn't it? So one for us to discover. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, interrupt anytime if there's a question or something. I cannot see any of you. I cannot see the chat. It's like doing a podcast.
yes, for sure.
All right. So what I was saying is the language here is what's on the website. Unveil the secret, blah, blah, blah. Cold pressed from the freshest lime peel. So it was on the website. If you were on the website, they don't show you the back. So if you were wondering, it is in the language here. Okay, on to the next slide. Pricing. Okay, now these poor people. I love this family, but my word. Again, at the Bloomsburg Fair, this is the same family that had their essential oils. The labels did not have the Latin binomial. Have a look over here. So it's a beautiful display, and they had diffusers. They had really some beautiful stuff. And then these essential oils. So look over here. Essential oils, $6 each plus tax. And there weren't any what we call precious. There weren't any very, very expensive essential oils in here, but there was eucalyptus, orange, lavender, lemongrass, patchouli, cedarwood. And I thought there is no way eucalyptus and patchouli are priced the same, or even lemongrass, which is a little more expensive. But patchouli, of the oils I just named, patchouli's up there. And I really kind of wish I'd bought a bottle. But anyway, I just had to say something. But it's hard. It was difficult because I wanted to be delicate and compassionate. I wanted so much for them to know. You got to do things a little bit differently if you're going to do this work. So I said to the woman, it was a nice, as I said, a woman and her husband, grandparents. And I said, how are you able to sell patchouli and eucalyptus at the same price? I know that they're very different, the ones that I've seen. And she, God bless her, was so transparent. She said, well, we've just started doing this. We weren't sure how to price them. So we just made them all one price. And we know that for some, we're losing money and some we're making money because orange is very cheap. Peppermint is not expensive. Patchouli is more expensive. So they are making money with orange and peppermint, but probably losing money on patchouli. I so appreciated her transparency. And I said, because I think she felt like, well, I better tell the truth. Anyway, so I did proceed to kind of share her what I do and I gave her some ideas, some suggestions. I suggested about her labeling and that she actually would be more credible if she would take the time to price her oils appropriately to the market standards. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
I would see it as a red flag to be like, they're all the same. I probably would not buy those because I'm like, there's
no,
something wrong there."
no.
Yeah,
And everybody that came up and were looking at them and smelling the testers. Well,
yeah,
and the other thing is, I haven't a clue where she buys her oils. So for all I know, there are great oils. My
mhm,
guess is she was buying from a place like Liebermuth or Liberty Naturals. These are big essential oil houses where they sell, you can buy gallons, and they were probably buying big quantities, 16, ounces maybe of an oil, and rebottling them. They could have been perfectly fine oils, but she was not
mhm,
doing herself any favor selling them like this. So,
for sure.
um, and she was very gracious. She was so appreciative, and that was a tricky one. So, however, she could have also been mean and nasty. And what's the point? Am I saying that? Hold on. There was a point. In any case, do not buy oils like this. You have no clue. They don't know what they're doing. That's the bottom line. And you don't want to purchase from somebody who really does not understand their craft.
Yeah,
I don't. I'll be honest.
Jean also
I'm
said
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, she also said without the Latin name on the bottle, you would not know which is cedar wood or eucalyptus varieties,
Yeah,
like the
especially cedarwood when there's so many different varieties and different species. So yeah. Okay. Again, I didn't want to throw, and the name is there. I didn't mean to throw her under the bus, but this was a great teaching moment. And I will say, I don't see this a lot anymore. Now, I have bought a bottle of essential oil. This is a good one for the Latin, going back to the Latin binomial. I bought a bottle of, no, it was a gift from a student, a bottle of Lang Lang with a pretty little yellow flower on it. And the Latin binomial was Oregana majorana, marjoram. So it was it was a common name was Lang Lang. The Latin binomial was marjoram. That was a big mix up. So really, you've got to really, and that's why it's really good to know your Latin binomials. To, trust me, once it's on your radar, you will look at every bottle now at their Latin binomials. Okay, here we get a little bit complicated, but that's okay. Now, yeah, I'm just going to go there. So GCMS testing is another way to determine the quality of an oil, but also just to give you information about the oil. So GCMS stands for gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Nobody says, so we all say GCMS, even the people in the scientists. So I have a definition here because I didn't want to get it wrong. So it's a laboratory analysis used to separate, identify, and quantify the natural chemical constituents in an essential oil. The GCMS, and I have a picture of one here in a second. It's two computers. The gas chromatograph is a computer. The mass spectrometer is a computer, and they measure different things. I'll tell you about that in a second. I just want to finish this text. The testing ensures the oil is unadulterated. It matches the expected botanical profile so buyers can trust its therapeutic quality. What I mean by the expected botanical profile is, I don't know, spruce oil. That's a bad example. Roman chamomile pretty much always has the same profile. It pretty much always produces the same constituents, the same molecules. Um, it might change from season to season. A lot of things will alter the outcome of what's in the bottle. It so GCMS tells you what's in that liquid. It's the recipe for kind of what makes up that essential oil, and that can vary depending on different factors: when it was harvested, the time of year, if it was wet, if it was dry. Lots of things can change it, but for the most part, there are parameters. You can pretty much expect the botanical profile is going to be such. If it's way off, then probably something's been added to it to make it sellable. Aromatherapists use these reports to understand an oil's chemistry, helps them create safe and effective blends. Okay, so back to our machines. We have, and this is where I got these pictures. So again, we have the two computers. We have up here, you probably all saw this on some CSI show where they're testing the blood to see who killed the person. So they put a sample of the volatile material in here. GCMS can only measure that which is volatile, that which evaporates. So you can't, I suppose you could put like a stone in there, but pretty much it's liquids. So you put a sample of your lavender in there, they spin it around, it goes through the process, and it comes out actually, it comes out as a reading. So the gas chromatograph will read what is in it. Oh, it's got linalool, it's got this molecule and that molecule and that molecule and that molecule, and it will put it in the order of volume. The mass spectrometer, I think I've heard it called mass spec. I'm not that cool. The mass spectrometer will measure the quantity of that. So it'll say there's linalool, and the MS says, oh, there's this much linalool. And then there's beta caryophyllene, and they'll tell you how much there is. So they work together. One will say what's in it, the other will tell you how much. And then when it's all been said and done, you get something. Well, actually, let me see. No, I don't have a. You don't get something that looks like this. You get something that looks like a long list of these words. Can you see? I could probably make it bigger. I wonder if I can zoom in. Nope, doesn't work. Every one of these unpronounceable words is the name for a molecule, or we call them components or constituents. All those words are interchangeable. When you think about a politician has constituents, those are all the people that make up his territory. Well, essentialists have constituents, and these are all the molecules that make up that oil. When the GCMS report or analysis is spit out of the machine, it's just long. You can have peaks and valleys, you'll see words, you'll see percentages, and it takes a long time to learn to read one of those. I pretty much look at the top. If I'm looking at one of those, I'll look at the top 5. It's in order of the highest volume of a chemical component is at the top, and it goes all the way down to little trace elements. I look at the top. What's it have the most of? And immediately, because I know what these molecules do, I'll say, oh, I don't know what this oil is, but it's relaxing, and it's probably good for headaches, and it's good for pain. It's got beta-myrcene, merciful myrcene. So, right. So it comes out like that. Then for years, we had them like that. And then somebody got smart. It was probably Andrew Bouget, and began to format the readout by chemical family for aromatherapists to read. So I don't have to go through and just sort of look, okay, which one's got the highest percentage? I can just see here that this blue tansy, Tanacetum annuum, this is from Nature's Gift, love their oils, and it has monoterpenes. So I know immediately if it's 50% monoterpenes, whatever monoterpenes do, this oil is doing. In other words, if there's that much of those active molecules making up this oil, I just have to learn what monoterpenes do, then I'll know more about this oil. There's very little aldehydes, sesquiterpenes a little bit, but some ketones, but it's mostly monoterpenes. I did not know that. I mean, I've seen this before, but I use blue tansy a lot. So this is a GCMS report. The report, when it comes out, you have to punch in the parameters, what you would like to have have the machine read. And if you want it to read for pesticides, that has to be programmed in. I'm not 100% sure I'm correct about that. The reason I'm sharing that is because a friend of mine was having her oils tested, and just for fun, she took her Christmas tree, distilled part of it, commercial Christmas tree, a real one, had it tested, distilled it, had the oil tested, and it had pesticides in it. Now, and she asked for that. So I don't know. I'm going to guess that when you're working with a chemist, if you really want to make sure there are pesticides. However, that same friend of mine, that same aromatherapist, had lemon oil she bought lemon oil from a supplier, a big quantity of it because she sells oils. Send it off for the GCMS testing because that's part of the service that she offers her customers. It came back with phthalates. And she contacted the distiller in, I think they were in maybe in India, Pakistan, and it was lemongrass and not lemon. And there were phthalates in it. And she said to the distiller, why? The distiller said, I have no clue. The distiller went back and discovered there was a problem with the machine. There was a leak. There was something not functioning well in the still itself, that phthalates were leaking from some of the plastic hosing. So they can tell you all kinds of things. So this is a lot of information if you're new, and that's fine. It's just let it in, let it go. These are all words that if you really, if it starts to speak to you, you will want to learn more about this. In any case, I think I have one more. Oh, yeah, one more thing I want to say. I'm going to show you the next slide. So, an essential oil company, they can, if an essential, and this is going back to choosing your good oils. If you find an essential oil company that says, yes, we do GCMS testing and we will supply you the report. Yay, I like this. I like this company. I want to work with them. Are your reports batch specific? Oh, no. We do one every 6 months just to kind of give an average of what our oils are. That's one option. Another is, yes, every one of our oils are batch tested, which batch specific, which means I have this this oil that I bought from a supplier in Florida for my lemon oil. And we just got a new batch. I'm going to have it tested. Okay, I'm going to give my customers the report that goes with that bottle. So if you can see, this batch was written on this batch of Cypress. This is the report that goes with that batch. So you know exactly what is in that bottle of oil. Offering them sporadically, and it's not cheap. It's back in the day, when I had a couple oils tested, it was like $100 an oil. Now, when you have only a few oils, that's very expensive. If you're selling buku bottles of oil, it's worth it. It's become the gold standard. It really has. More and more essential oils are just, I remember Marge Clark, who retired from Nature's Gift. She's the one that founded it. She didn't for the longest time, and I got on her case. I love Marge. I said, you got to do the testing, honey. I love your oils. Got to do the testing. She said, oh, I don't want to. And she did. And now her daughter-in-law has taken over the company, and they're great. This is a personal choice. If you would like to you want the batch specific, or if it doesn't matter to you. If you don't even want to look at the GCMS reports, that's okay. We're all on our own journeys. There was something else. Was I going to say something about something here? I can't remember. It'll come back or not. It'll probably come back tomorrow. Okay. We doing okay? Deep breath. Take a drink of water. Supplier transparency and accessibility of information. You're going to see a lot of bright bold here. Know your source. I always say the shortest distance between the distiller, the farmer, the person who's making the oil, they harvest it, they put it in their still, they crank it out, they sell it. The shortest distance from the distiller to the user, the better. Because there's less, oh gosh, I keep hitting my microphone. There is less margin of monkey business, because it is very common for somebody to buy a big batch of oil and okay, I've got a gallon. How can I get a gallon and a half out of this and sell it for the same price? So they start adding things, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then, I buy it, a company buys it from a distiller, And they're scrupulous. They sell it in a smaller quantity to, a shop, and now the shop adulterates it. Or the shop sells it, and then somebody else buys the little bottle, adulterates it. So the farther down the line you go, the better chance, the more people handling an oil, the better chance that something is going to go awry along the way. So know your source. Transparency is, I get on my soapbox about it every time, meaning the company should be transparent. Okay, a credible supplier is transparent. They offer clear, publicly available information. Publicly means it could be on their website, or you could call them or email them and say, I love this batch, but it's different than last year's batch. What happened? And they should be able to come back and say either it rained more this year and it affected the crops, or I don't know, but I'll talk to the distiller and get back to you. That's transparency, and that is publicly available information. The sourcing of their oils, like I just mentioned, they might even have a relationship with the grower. I should have put a bullet point here. A credible supplier will test their oils, even if it's just for themselves. Now, essential oil companies like Inshanti, I showed you that one earlier. It's a wonderful little store here in Pennsylvania, and she was a student of Andrea's and started her own essential oil line. She has her oils tested, but she does not provide it on the website. You have to ask for a copy of it. Some companies will do that. I'm not sure why. I honestly think it has to do with she hasn't figured out how to get it on the website. But many times you'll find that, yes, we have the reports, just ask us and we'll send you a copy. They should have the supplier should have safety precautions. If they're selling you clove oil, there should be some precautions that go with it on the website, or could be on the bottles. Again, it's more likely going to be on the website. Or if you say, well, I have an allergy to, let's see, I'm sensitized to black pepper essential oil. Sensitization means you've developed an allergy to it, and it can happen if you use an oil over and over again, undiluted, or just too often. Marge Clark, who owns Nature's Gift, God bless her, is sensitized to lavender because for years back in the 90s, everybody said you can use lavender undiluted wherever you want. And she did, and now she cannot use it. Sometimes there's a cross sensitization where black pepper is one. If you become sensitized to it, you're most likely also going to be sensitized, I think it might be ginger, to another spicy oil. And if you're not sure, call the company and say, I have a sensitization to peppermint. Do I have to be careful if I buy your spearmint? They may or may not know that, but they'll sure be willing to help. Okay, dilution guidelines. They should be knowledgeable on all their oils. So be careful. Etsy, Amazon, craft fairs. These are generally people who it's all about the money, nothing about the product, nothing about creating an environment of health and wellness. And it's great to want to make money and sell your products, and you can do that in an ethical way. I I went on Etsy. I went on Etsy looking for hydrosols, and I was appalled at some of the things I learned. And so I play dumb. I email them saying, "Oh, I would like to buy your hydrosols," and you could do the same thing with essential oils. With hydrosols, I think I said, "Do you ever have little fuzzies in yours?" It's little fuzzy is called a bloom, and it's microbial contamination. And I got an email back from at least 3 of them saying, "Oh, we filter those out. We get those out." No, you have to toss the whole thing in the garden. Do not filter out. It's like saying the water's clean. There was a poop in it. There was a turd in it, but we picked the turd out. The water's fine. So that was my experience with 3 Etsy sellers of hydrosol. So don't be afraid to play dumb, ask questions. Are your oils tested? Where do they come from? I will very often ask, what kind of a still was used? Was it stainless or was it copper? For hydrosols, it makes a difference. For essential oils, really, it doesn't so much. So Etsy, Amazon. Now, um, Aromatics International, one of the top of the food chain essential oil companies, they sell on Amazon. I'm pretty sure they do. I know a couple of other reputable sellers, and I would be fine buying from them on Amazon. Those are the rare exceptions. So I can't stress enough how, beyond everything else, really get to know who are you buying them from. I prefer not to go to health food stores because they don't know what they're selling. They won't answer your questions appropriately. If you know your oil and you know the health food store and you know they're replacing their oils frequently, go for it. But they're often dusty, or ugh, it's just not a great place to buy a quality oil. Okay, a word about therapeutic grade essential oils. Jeannie, she's smiling and nodding. Okay, now it used to be really hot topic, not as much anymore, because again, it was in the 90s when an essential oil company started using the term, our essential oils are therapeutic grade. And they became a hot commodity. Well, look at those oils they're not therapeutic grade. I'm going to buy theirs because it's clearly a superior product. There's no governing body, official standard anywhere that regulates the grades of essential oils, let alone therapeutic grade. If it's a good essential oil, it'll be therapeutic. It's like saying a caffeinated grade coffee. I mean, all coffee is caffeinated. All essential oils are therapeutic, provided, all things being equal, if they're good oils. So there really is, just be careful. I would recommend you don't use the word, and just look twice. If somebody says ours are therapeutic grade, I've also seen aromatherapy grade, which to me is another marketing term. There's no brand that can put a therapeutic grade on their, I beg your pardon, any brand can put therapeutic grade on their label. It guarantees nothing. So there's no test, there's no organization. It's just a word that somebody made up, and it was brilliant. It just doesn't have any standing in the industry. True essential oil quality is determined through transparent sourcing, proper distillation, and independent chemical analysis like your GCMS reports. No additives. Oh, here we get good. Sneaky and toxic additives used by unscrupulous sellers. This is why you want to watch the quality of what you're buying. Synthetic. So these are some things that monkey business that they'll do with oils. It's very easy. Okay, so when I was at Purdue, one day we had a test. We did a smell test, and there were like 6 bottles of lavender essential oil, except for one. One, linalool, is a molecule. It's a component that gives lavender its aroma. One of the things. There were 5 bottles of lavender essential oil and 1 bottle of linalool, synthetic linalool, made in the laboratory. We had to go through and see which one was the linalool. None of us could pick it out. And when the instructor said it's this bottle, and we smelled it, and then we went back and smelled the ones that were all real, we could immediately tell the difference. That is a very common trick to expand the volume of oil so that they sell more. Hexane, petrochemical solvents, sometimes those are left behind. Phthalates, we talked about, nobody wants phthalate. I think phthalates, I think you'd have to be pretty darn low, deep in the barrel to have phthalates in your oils, but these are things that can happen. Alcohols, vegetable oils, or other dilutants. Now, I did a test one time. I was teaching a class in Ohio, and it was aromatherapy certification program in Grinnell, Iowa. There's a big hospital there, and it was a group of nurses. And one of them handed me a bottle of essential oil. I will not say the company. It was pretty well known. They've cleaned up their act since then. But is this a good oil? It was cedarwood. And I said, I don't know. It smells great. And I said, well, I don't have any tools here, but let's do this. Let's just get a piece of white paper, like notebook paper, and we put a couple drops on there. And it was dark. I mean, cedar wood's thick. It can be kind of heavy. And I said, just leave it there and we'll set over by the window and continue to teach. At the break, I said, oh, let's check our paper. I got the paper. It should have been completely transparent with just maybe a little wrinkle, like what happens when paper gets wet. It was a greasy splotch. That oil had been cut with some kind of vegetable oil to increase the volume. And that's a really easy way to tell. Okay. Oh, these are more things. Cheap or incorrect plant oils, swapping lavender. Oh, that's, yeah. You buy a cheap rose, I beg your pardon, cheap, like Palmarosa is very rosy, and sometimes it's used to cut rose oil to extend it. Um, Lavandula intermedia. It is a hybrid between Lavandula angustifolia, the lavender we all know and love, and Lavandula latifolia, which is called spike lavender. They've mixed the two. On purpose. It's a hybrid because it makes a really juicy plant. And when you see those pictures of France with rows and rows of lavender, a lot of that is lavandin. It's a great oil. I mean, lavandin's fine. I've used it. It just isn't lavender. And it's cheap. So sometimes they will cut that or they will add that to a bottle to, again, to extend it. Colorants, contaminants, garbage. Oh, I'm almost at the end. I put these in probably 10 minutes before I went on because I thought, well, I think I should talk about these as well. Organic certification or wildcrafted status, if that's important to you, it should be, especially with the cold pressed oils where it's just whatever was put on that plant, on the fruit is going to be in the oil. Organic certification, wildcrafted status. Wildcrafted means very often that happens in countries like with vetiver or patchouli, vetiver in particular, where it's very, very expensive to have your agriculture organic, certified. You guys probably know this. I think it's like 5 years the soil has to be tested, and only after 5 years can you call it certified. The indigenous people of a lot of these countries cannot afford that. So they go out and they pick them. So they're wildcrafted. They're organic. They just can't be certified. So we say wildcrafted. Now, getting a little more advanced, certain plants will produce a whole lot of a chemical, and that's called a chemotype. If that is important to you, here, I've got one right here. I don't know I have no clue if you can see this. It's it says rosemary chemotype camphor. I love that it's right on the bottle. I wanted a chemotype camphor. You've got rosemary chemotype camphor, chemotype verbenone, chemotype 1,8 cineol, and each one brings something different to the party. And so when people who really start to get deep into essential oils and understanding the chemistry, the chemotypes, they're going to want to buy a specific chemotype. That is something that, honestly, I think if an essential oil company is selling a bottle of rosemary, which is a particular one for chemotypes, basil, and they have 2 or 3 different times, another one, if they have 2 or 3 different chemotypes, I think it should be on the bottle or at least on the website. And of course, if they have sustainable, ethical harvesting practices, reputable suppliers, prioritize environmental sustainability, fair trade, what's it called? White sage, Salvia apiana is that white sage? It's what's used for smudging and so forth. It's become
It's rare.
thank you. Yeah, where it's becoming hard to find. And so it's being grown sustainably in places, but there are other people who just go out and they'll just get it because it's, I want to make my bundles or I want to do my oils. And so we're losing a lot of it. So rosewood is another one. We've just almost lost rosewood, but now there are sustainable farms. Sandalwood is another one that India, it's just really, you can still get it, but Hawaii produces fabulous sandalwood. And so that's another thing. If you're buying an oil, Depends how deep you get into all this, but if you want to purchase an oil that you know is kind of endangered, look and what are the practices of the person you're buying it from? Nope. That's from another that's from another talk. I was going to put a recap of what you learned, and I didn't. So we're just going to go right to this. Questions, comments, aha moments. I would like to stop sharing my screen. I guess I will. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see your beautiful faces.
I'm gonna allow it
Okay.
so
Am I
they can talk if they want to.
great? Did I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, you did.
Okay, lovely. Excellent.
Okay, so if you guys wanna unmute, you can, if you have any questions, or you can ask it.
Everyone's sort of like, I don't know where to start.
I do
I
have a question while they're deciding
Please.
whether they're gonna talk. Okay, so you said the rubber, tops. What if you have a mixture that you've made yourself, you've already gotten the jojoba oil, but you know you're gonna use it within a month? It's just like a little
Oh,
bit. That's
that's
okay.
fine. Yeah, I mean, that it and also it will depend the ratio of jojoba to essential oils.
Mhm.
If there's primarily jojoba with just if it's 3/4 jojoba and a quarter, that's a lot, but I'm
Yeah,
sure it's fine. If you're gonna use it up because they volatilize, but even in carrier, I've seen the thing happen, but you're fine. In fact, my mother fell and I made a blend for her and I made it with a rubber top because I knew she would know how to use that. She
yeah,
was familiar with that mechanism, so I just made it in hers and I figured, if it takes her 3 months to use it up, she's fine.
yeah. Okay. Yes. I was just wondering, I make some oils sometimes, but I know I just make a really small amount anyway, so.
And do you make essential oils or hydrosols?
No, I take the essential oils and make it
Gotcha.
into I mix it with the jojoba oil and
Right,
stuff
right.
like that
You make
to use it out.
blends,
Yes,
and things.
yes,
Yay, excellent, I love that.
yes.
I was thinking if I had questions, so I wonder was people like Jeannie and,
Do you want to hear my voice?
I
Is that what
do.
you're telling me?
It's
Okay, hi.
exactly what I'm saying, and I was not sure if it was Jeannie or Jean, I wanna say Jeannie.
It's Jean like wear a pair of pants.
Okay, like my mother was Jean.
But that's okay,
Um,
like Jeannie Rose is Jeannie, but it's spelled the same way. So I take it
yes,
either way.
that's why.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
I know that none of this was new to you, or was there anything that was
You
new
know
or
what?
any
I didn't know about wildcraft. So
about
thank you.
wildcrafting? Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, Jeannie's
No,
been around for
yeah.
she's a veteran. Yeah, I'd say you're a veteran like me.
I am. I started listening to her podcast a long time ago. So yes.
You
And
started
you're
what?
listening to your podcast so
Oh,
long ago. So yes.
yeah, so we've been around. Yeah,
Yep.
lovely, good,
Not as
excellent.
long as you. Okay, so let's be clear.
No, I just happened to be I don't know, in the right place at the right time or something. I was where I was when I was. I
Yep.
have a question. If anyone wants to ask me about a brand, I don't I know a lot about a couple brands. I don't know all of them. But I have opinions, and I never wanna throw a company under the bus, but for example, now, I would just say the NOW brand of essential oils, they are sold in my local health food store. I will buy those for cleaning. I clean with my essential oils. If I don't have, I'll either use up a bottle that's starting to go bad, but if I wanna have a big cleaning project and I want peppermint or something like that, I buy it there. I don't care about I know that those are not really adulterated oils, but I don't know that they're very great quality because there are grades within distillation, better plant material, better distillation practices. I think the oils are fine. I wouldn't use them in a therapeutic blend. I wouldn't use them to make a blend for somebody's healing, but I'll sure use them to wash the floors and wipe down the baseboards. And, we have a camper. I'll clean it out with eucalyptus and peppermint in the at this time of year to get it clean. And so if you have oils that you're not sure, oh my gosh, I would think that my doesn't meet Liz's criteria, then clean with them.
Yeah,
or diffuse?
I can smell the difference between the now and, like, a more pure oil, like, I'm super sensitive to a lot of different things, like, for instance, I went to it was more of like, I don't know, it was an herbal shop, but it was more of kind of a witchcrafty
Yep,
type
magical with a
vibe.
K.
Yes, yes. And I got a couple blends, and it didn't say that it had a carrier oil, but it definitely did. And the blends even smelled wrong, like they smelled synthetic, or maybe they had just gone bad. I don't know. They had sat there so long, but
It
yeah, you can.
could have been both,
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah,
yeah.
but good for you, and honestly, for every one of you, it's only I mean, just you can improve your sense of smell, and you really will get better and better at discerning a better one. Like Mary Heather just explained, you'll start to have a I don't know, it's like I guess I don't know, it's like a skill, I suppose,
Mhm,
learning to discern, and I honestly, my sense of smell has really gotten very sensitive over the years. I can smell dryer sheets on people's clothing if they're
mhm.
within sort of 6 feet of me. Um, yeah, anyway. Well, thank you for having me.
I have a
Yes, thank you.
question.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Who's that?
It's Cassandra.
Hi, Cassandra.
Hi. Um, it's a little off topic, but
Okay.
I wanted to get your opinion about oil disposal because at the beginning of this month, Hannah
Mm,
Tisserin put out a post on Instagram saying that we shouldn't be returning them to the earth anymore, that they're considered toxic and need to go to like where you take paint. What is
hi.
your what do you
What
think of that?
wow, wow, a couple things I wanna say. First of all, I didn't know that, so I'm definitely gonna read that. I am so glad you brought this up because I'm this has, not been on my radar. I almost never throw throw away essential oils. They almost never go so bad that I have to just throw it in the garbage. I wonder so to answer your question, I don't have an answer because this is, not
It's
information that I
new.
know. Yeah, but it's
I
interesting.
always thought you were just, sending it back where it came from, kind of, since it's
Right.
plant material.
But see, now I have
But
questions, like, how
I
is it
guess now it's showing up in the water tables, maybe?
is there that much essential oil being thrown away? And then again,
I
maybe by
don't think
distillers.
so, but I
I
use
can't
mine, but
imagine.
every once in a while I have one that goes bad. But
Right. And then how did you dispose of it?
before I would,
Just chuck
like,
it.
if it was one for bugs, I would go put it on my wall.
Right.
I'm not going to use it, but the wall can
Right.
use it and help with the scorpions.
Y Nice. I mean, I have to say there may have been a bottle that was so old that I might have dumped it in the garbage and then maybe reused the bottle or recycled the bottle. Ooh, I love these conversations. So now I wanna go read that because I have my own questions. I wanna know what's the evidence?
She didn't
Because
put that on there. She
was it on
just
the blog?
It was actually I saw it on Instagram on the Tisserin site.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
follow them,
Right.
and it was her October 3rd post.
Okay. Interesting. I will definitely look that up. Thank you, so much for, for bringing
No,
that
thank you.
up.
I know it's new, so I'm trying to get my feel like why are we doing this differently now?
Right, and, something we're a little community, so somebody says something, especially at the level of Tisserand, and
Right.
all of a sudden, it's on everybody's talking about it, and I just wanna know if the essential oil distillers who have produced gallons and gallons when I was at Purdue, we went to visit a spearmint farm that was just
Mhm.
acres of spearmint, and they were pumping out spearmint essential oil into, uh, what do they call those? Gallon barrels? What's the
Oh,
word?
the
A drum.
drums.
Yeah, that's it. The drums of spearmint oil, and that was going to Wrigley's. Now, people people like that with that volume, maybe it could be a problem. But I think that those of us who
Little
have our
mini bottles.
15 ml bottles,
Don't.
and yeah, no, it could 100% be right. I would like to know. I would just want the evidence because I'm on board. If that's a problem, then we got to find a new way to get rid of it. So, and maybe it's just being proactive that, it's, I don't know.
Thank
Interesting.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. And thank you for the great question.
Thank you for all you've done.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Well, you have to come over to my shop and talk about something to my peeps.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I
Liz,
got some ideas.
Okay.
Liz, before you go anywhere,
Oh.
while you're researching that, will you ask if we can recycle the glass bottle also?
I ask about what with the glass bottle?
If we can recycle.
Because it has oil in it?
Yeah, because if these are volatile so much,
Mhm.
can I even put them in my recycle bin?
Because I
While you're
do.
researching. I do too.
Yeah, right. Well, and I only really recycle the ones that had myrrh. Myrrh is a bear. Myrrh just
Yeah.
is like sticky and impossible. And vetiver is another one. Those I will recycle, but the ones often I'll just reuse them. I boil them, and I'll reuse it, and then I buy new caps and orifice reducers. But the bottles are great. I will ask about that. Sweet. Good. Does anyone want to share what companies they use? Just for curiosity?
I have a lot of doTERRA, and I wanna say hold on, I'll go look, hold on.
Okay. And can you still hear me, Mary Heather, if I keep talking?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. So one of the things I want to say about price, now doTERRA has really upped their game from 15 years ago when they didn't do GCMS testing or they didn't make it available, and now they do. The multi-level marketing company is a good business model for some people. And it's a great way to make money and using essential oils and helping people and being an advocate for wellness, as they call themselves. I have no problem at all with the oils. I do have a bit of a problem with the practice of having people consume them by mouth without more education.
Yes,
Um,
I did that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Because I was taught in a class that you could, and I mean, I did it with oregano oil because 'cause they're like, "Oh, it's fine." Oh my gosh, my
no.
burning, like, oh, it was
Oh my God, Mary Heather.
it was terrible. They're
Oh,
like,
that's
"Oh,
so
oregano oil is so good for so many things."
Oil of
Nature
oregano is different than oregano oil. I know that sounds bizarre, but it's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
a
yeah,
different product.
yeah,
God bless you. Because I did it once when I had strep throat and I thought, I'm smarter. I'm so smart. I can
yeah,
do what I want with these oils because I know this stuff inside out. And I gargled with salt water with oregano oil in it, essential oil of oregano. It's the same thing. I saw stars. I just wanted to drink bread, eat bread and milk, and
yes.
it was
It
dumb.
was for a long time
Um,
I was tasting
yeah.
it.
Yeah. See, now if you looked at the GCMS report, you'd see the phenols in there, the carvacrol, and you'd know, ooh, that's a burning one. I'm not going to use that. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to say just with the multi-level marketing companies is apart from I'm concerned about people selling it without enough education, but also the oils tend to be very expensive. And
Yeah, they
that's because it's built into the
awesome.
business model.
Yeah.
But people sometimes in a way, I'm grateful for companies like doTERRA because it does introduce people to the world of essential oils. I have had students in my certification program who said, I started with doTERRA and then I thought, oh, wait, there's more out there. And now I want to get certified. I want to learn about different oils. And so in that case, I've been grateful.
So
So what do you got?
Nature's Fusion?
Okay, it's a blend. Ooh,
No,
thyme.
no,
Oh,
it's 100% pure.
yeah, it
I
is.
think it's kind of like a knockoff, I think, of doTERRA,
Oh,
but
I'm
it
sorry. I
does
thought that was doTERRA. Oh,
no,
Nature's Fusion's the
this is
company. Got it.
Nature's
Got it.
Fusion. Yeah,
Does it
and
say
it
Latin
has
binomial?
yeah, I don't
Is it
know.
Thymus vulgaris?
Um, Thymus
Oh,
zygus
yeah. That's a different species,
from
right?
Spain.
I
Yeah, it
think that's
says
right.
the location too,
Yeah.
Spain.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
and then this is the other one, which I was unsure about, but they said it was equivalent.
Oh, I like Acacia.
Okay.
Rosemary. See, now it'll say Rosmarinus officinalis. That's another thing. Latin binomials change. It used to always be Rosmarinus officinalis. The taxonomists, the bunch of eggheads have nothing better to do than reclassify things. And they said rosemary is now a sage. We're calling it Salvia rosmarinus. And so both names are appropriate, but it's good to look at the bottle. I was going to ask you, does it say anything on there about a chemotype? I don't think Orocacia does.
Wait, it's got a little peel back, so I don't know. Not on the main. They are saying they have Amazon Simple Earth and Plant Therapy.
They meaning the mothership, the
No,
company?
they're people, like the people in the chat. That's where they're getting
Oh, I love plant therapy. Oh, there's the chat. Look at that. Look at me not knowing how to do
it. There they are.
Well, here we go. Cassandra, lime's the one I know to be distilled both. I still prefer cold pressed. Me too. Without the Latin name on the bottle, you would not know which cedarwood or exactly. Aromatics International Plant Therapy sell on Amazon. They do, and aromatics I'd buy from them a tent in the desert. I mean, they're just the best. Aromatics International Plant Therapy, I would probably buy from them on Amazon. Does that mean the glass bottle cannot be recycled? Jean asked that. I know, Jim. He's got Amazon a sad face because Jeff Bezos, he's got us all by the short hairs. So sad. Simply Earth Plant Therapy, that's what you shared. Eden Botanical, I love them. I like them. I just started using them a couple years ago. They're only 10 ml bottles. I just love them, and they're affordable. And they had these great sales, sort of like 25% off until Friday. And then I buy a bunch of stuff. Simply Earth, April's Eden. Eden it was April. Said Eden Botanical. Jean likes Still Point. They're the best, Still Point. Well, Joy. Aromatics International, Eden's Garden. Interesting. So there was Plant Therapy, Simply Earth. Does Simply Earth, I guess they have their own website. Eden Botanicals. Another one I really, really like? Lotus Garden Botanicals. It's I can put this in the chat. LG Botanicals.
Lotus.
Lotus Garden LG Botanicals. I think that's it. I also really like their oils. Lotus. Yeah. Yeah, those are some of the ones I'll buy from. And I really like mixing it up. And then Anshanti, Nature's Gift. Nature's Gift is fabulous. Oh, I miss Marge. She retired. I think she's 80 now. Nature's Gift is fabulous. And Nature's Gift is also so transparent. You can call them up because they buy from the distiller and bottle them. So it's distiller, Nature's Gift, you. I love that. And the Aromatics International does that. Still Point does that. Oh, yeah. Flora Hannah's fabulous. And they're in Europe. I think it's a French company, Cassandra. And I know their oils are spectacular. They're really good. Ooh, now, Etherio. I've never heard of that brand. Local to Minnesota. But you've used them, Jean?
Yes, I have, and they actually give the GC mix, which I
Okay.
buy
Sweet.
from them. And they have a
Excellent.
little shop. There's actually like a company that they have some actually nice perfumery items too. So yeah, they're good.
I'm sorry, the company makes what?
Perfumery items also. Like they make sprays of perfume that are different essential oils.
So is it etherio.com?
Let me look that up and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'd like to see I love supporting small businesses like that. Pompeii Organics, they don't use that name anymore. Jessica Grill is the owner of that company. And she doesn't hang on. She distills her own hydrosols from our stills and but she does buy her essential oils directly from the distillers. Also very, very good products. She's the one that had the lemongrass that came back with phthalates in it. Plant Extracts International. Plant Extracts International, most trusted manufacturer of innovative healthcare products that enable and enhance compassionate care. Oh, wow, look at that. And you say this is a mom and pop organization, like local to Minnesota?
Yes, I believe they are. I know, like our local AIA group has gone there as a tour.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a nice little place.
Excellent.
They don't have a lot, but they have ones that are hard to come by.
The website's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they have it under benefits, like, you can just click calm, and it's like, "Oh,
Yes, I love that.
rose." Yeah, that's nice.
Well, it is way past my bedtime.
Yes.
I'm happy to stay here and chat. I really am. But if there aren't any other questions,
Yes, I appreciate you, getting on with me, and, I learned some stuff too.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I use essential oils, I mostly use the real plant material, so
I know that's yeah. I really want to get deep. I want to get deeper into your world too because
Mhm.
I did a I did a podcast episode called "Are You a Disconnected Aromatherapist?" And it was about, and I think people thought it was about, I don't know what they thought, but it was about, we have with the bottles and the jars and the caps and the orifice reducers and the labels and the, what about the source? How
Mhm.
connected are you with the plant? So I'll tell a real quick little story about that. So this is why lemon verbena is my gal. I always have to put my head a little. I'm very humbled telling this story. In 2013, I went to Spokane, Washington, to learn how to distill from Jeannie Rose or Ann Harmon. We were a class of like 20 people, and she would put us in groups of 5, and we had to go, and she had a big garden, and she also had wild things growing. Yarrow was all over, and so she'd say, okay, yarrow people, you go harvest the yarrow, bring it back, and you guys will distill yarrow. And you people get the lavender, and Liz, you and these other people, you go pick the lemon verbena and bring it back and distill it. I thought, the hell does lemon verbena look like? Like,
Mm.
I talk about an aha moment. I was shocked. I thought, what does it look like? I've never grown it. I don't know what it looks like. I was so ashamed. So I made sure everyone went first and I followed along at the end. And of course, there was lemon verbena. I just like said this prayer. Thank you so much for showing me my disconnection. The plants come first, the
Mhm.
soil, the plants, the geography, the political climate around the plants, all the things. And then finally, the bottle. So, and I always grow lemon verbena, and she's my gal. But that story was to really remember, those of us especially, you work with the plants. We work with a product from the plants. So,
Yeah, and sometimes I'll buy the teas too, if I
mhm.
don't have a plant or it doesn't grow very well around here, so I will do that as well, but yeah.
Jim's all about the teas. I'm going to learn about teas from Jim. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
well,
He's been
Mary
making
Heather,
it.
I can't wait to have you come over, play at my playground, at my school playground. Everyone, come over, and I'm not. You don't struggle for content. I'm not struggling, but I'm sort of like, what do they want to know?
I do a lot
And
of polls. I do a lot of polls.
yeah, I thought, in fact, I think people like polls because I thought,
Oh,
am I
yeah.
going to avoid asking them? So,
They love polls. Yeah.
yeah,
They love
right.
a good poll.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
wanna they
April,
wanna put their input. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
April, who is here, got me excited about, oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah,
yes,
and
good.
it's funny because I'm the complete rabbit hole, but I'm listening to an audiobook because I love audiobooks about called Vera Wong's. It's a cozy mystery about a woman named Vera, a Chinese woman who has a tea house, and the descriptions of the teas that she makes, and I'm all about. I've got to learn more about teas. So if
Yeah.
you do teas, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for staying, for hanging in there and staying up, and your questions, and come over to the Aromatic Wisdom place and ask me questions. Yes, thank you, Mary Heather, for inviting me. I'm so pleased.
Yes.
Look at
Thank
us.
you
Look
so
at us
much.
with our webinar. We're webinar pros now.
Yes. Now we're pros with the webinar.
Oh, God. All righty. Well, I don't even know how to close. There we go. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Jim, April, Jean, Cassandra. I said April. Gosh, I hope I didn't forget anyone. Um,
And then
and of course,
everybody that's watching
and
after.
all of you beautiful people on the replay. Don't forget them. Okay. Good night, everybody. Be happy. Be well.